After we've gotten through with our warm-up and we move out to the power hour room, we're gonna start with our dead hangs, and then we'll do some core work and some balance work as well. So for that dead hang, we're gonna start with those arms straight. Think about your fingers as hooks. We're gonna go anywhere from 45 to 60 seconds here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna just let yourself hang. Keep those shoulders pulled down and away from your ears so those lats can be engaged. Abs are walled up nice and tight. Glutes are squeezed. You can see how Juice has those legs kind of out in front of her here. She's squeezing those glutes tight. Everything's working here. She's thinking about her fingers like hooks. Now she's getting real intentional with her breathing. Deep breath in, and then nice and controlled out. And as she pushes that air out, she's gonna feel those abs engage here. Now, if you can hold that for 60 seconds, the next progression is going to our bent arm hang here. So you can hop up to that chin up position. Cues are still the same. Shoulders down and away from those ears. Those fingers are like hooks. Abs are walled up nice and tight. Glutes are squeezed. Nice deep breath. And at any point where you feel like you're starting to lose that control, you can lower yourself down nice and slow as you can here. And when you reach the bottom, you can just switch that grip and go back to that pronated dead hang grip position as well. If for any reason that dead hang is a little too challenging for you, the other option is our ISO hold with our kettlebells. So you'll grab a set of kettlebells. Cues are still the same though. Shoulders are down and away from those ears. Lats are engaged, abs are walled up, glutes are squeezed. Grab the inside of your shoes with your toes and just breathe here. Think about your hands like hooks here as well, so you're gripping those kettlebells. Now she's got a pretty good bend of those elbows. You could go a little bit straighter with those arms, that's okay. So you don't have to keep them engaged up high. It's just holding that heavy weight. Really challenge yourself with the weight. Just like with the dead hang, you want this to be a weight that really challenges you to get through that 30, 45, or 60 seconds. Once we're done with our hangs, we're gonna move out to the blue floor and we're gonna work on our dead bugs. For our dead bug, you're gonna get set up with that ball between your thigh and forearm here. So notice how Juice's feet are up like this, resting on a chair. She's not grabbing the ball with her hands. She's keeping those arms straight, so it's kind of like between her wrist and forearm and top of her thighs here. She's squeezing that ball tight. She's gonna push that air out, push her lower back into the floor to get those abs engaged, and then she's gonna extend with that opposite arm and leg. So she's really pushing away with her heel, reaching high overhead with that arm, not resting at the bottom, staying engaged. Only go as far out as you can before you feel your lower back start to arch here. So keep those abs engaged and think about squeezing that ball with that opposite arm and leg. That's really gonna keep all those core muscles working here as well. We'll do this from anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. Then we're gonna come over to our box and we're gonna work a balance exercise here. This is our box step down. So you're gonna start with one foot off the box, and now Juice is gonna pull that toe up toward her knee. She's just gonna let her knee sit forward of that standing leg as she takes that foot down toward the floor, keeping that heel in line with the midfoot, and going as slow as she can before she's gonna lose her balance and driving up, squeezing that glute nice and tight. So it's a deep breath in as you go down, push that air out, just explore the range of motion here as you're working this one. You don't have to go all the way down to the floor. With each rep, see if you can get a little deeper range of motion and just challenge yourself, but don't let yourself lose your balance here. Really focus on activating all those stabilizing muscles on this exercise. We'll go back and forth between this one and the dead bug. When we come back, you'll go to the other leg. So you'll do it for a certain amount of time on one side. When we come back, you'll work that other leg. Then we'll finish up with one more set on the dead hang. Okay, so after we've gone through some of that core work and balance work, we're gonna move on to some power exercises here. So the first exercise is gonna be our landmine pivot press. So you'll see how Juice is set up here with that bar across her body. So if that bar is at 6 and 12, she's facing 9 and 3. You can also go with like a 2 and an 8 position here as well. And this is gonna all start with those hips. So this isn't about a heavy weight. This is about moving fast with a lot of power here. So what she's gonna do, her hips are gonna initiate and she's gonna rotate through those hips and she's gonna punch that bar up. So it's a deep breath in, push that air out as you drive up here. Notice how she's pivoting on those feet, squeezing that glute at the end. Hold that end position so they can see what that's really like here. Straight line, glute squeeze, pushing yourself through the ball of that back foot. Back down, deep breath. You're gonna do 5 on one side. You'll switch directions. You'll do 5 on the other side here, so just nice and powerful. Again, it doesn't have to be a heavy weight. Think about punching fast and hard here. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. We'll set the bar down. We're gonna come over to our skier and we're gonna get 10 strokes in on that skier. So reaching high overhead like you reach for that top shelf. Sit that butt back, push that air out as you pull here. Up to those toes, deep breath in. Push that air out as you sit back and pull down here. So you can go 5 and 5 on the landmine pivot press and then 10 strokes on the skier. Give yourself 60 to 90 seconds to rest. We'll get 2 to 3 sets in and then we're moving on. And so for the strength training portion of the workout, we're doing our alternating sets. We're looking for a 5 rep range, which means a weight that you could do 5, maybe a 6th quality rep, but you're only gonna do 5 here. If you can do 8 to 12, that's a little too light. You wanna go heavier here. The 2 exercises we're gonna be working in this alternating set are going to be kettlebell or trap bar deadlifts, and then single arm rows on the suspension trainer. So for that deadlift, if you're working that kettlebell, which is great, you could start with those feet between those toes, hinge back so you keep those knees right there, shins are perpendicular to the floor, natural arch of that lower back wall with those abs. Think about squeezing those oranges in your armpits, those shoulders pulled down and away. Deep breath in, you're gonna drive up through those heels, squeezing those glutes tight at the top, pulling those shoulders back. When you go back down here, think hips go straight back, knees stay right over the ankles, not pushing forward here. Drive back up, pushing that air out. If you want to go a little bit heavier with that weight, you can move over to the trap bar deadlift. We have one set up here for you. Same setup, just a different grip on this one. So for this trap bar deadlift, you want to make sure that those handles are right there by your shins so you're not reaching too far out in front of you here. Hips go straight back, knees stay over the ankles here. Grab those bars, grab those handles, keep those shoulders pulled down and away from the ears. Another thing to focus on here is that you grab in the center of that knurling, so that if you're too far forward or too far back, that bar is gonna tilt on you as you drive up. So grab right in the center, and then the movement's the same. You're gonna drive up through those heels. When you take it down, your butt goes straight back. Also notice how Katie keeps her chin tucked here, so she's looking straight down. She's not looking out in front of her, cranking on her neck. Sit back, take that bar down to the floor, drive up here. Again, we're looking for 5 reps. So on that first rep, on that first set, if you feel like you could have done 8 to 12 reps, you need to go heavier. We'll add some weight on there to really find the right weight for you. So for the single arm row, we're gonna use our suspension trainer here. So make sure you notice how Katie took the slack out of that band, because if you don't, you're gonna slip on that first rep here. So you're gonna grab that suspension trainer with one arm, stepping in, nice hip width apart, maybe even wider to get a nice support here for you, nice base. Toes are pulled up, glutes are squeezed, kneecaps are pulled up toward those hips. Shoulders pulled down and away from those ears, lats are engaged. Now KK's just gonna pull her chest up toward that hand, pushing that air out. She's gonna take a deep breath in on the way back down, push that air out. Notice how she keeps her hips pushed forward here so she's not letting them dip on her. She's squeezing, point that hand toward her rib, keeping that shoulder down and away, reaching with that other arm at the top. Nice and controlled here. Again, now, with these, if you find that you start a little too heavy, you can always put one foot back or both feet back here. If you find that you can do more than 5 reps, the next set you want to step in and make it a little bit heavier here. You're going to do 5 on one side, then you're just going to switch that hand and then do 5 on the other. Again, stepping in to make it heavier, 1 foot back or both feet back to make it a little bit lighter here. The 2 exercises we're gonna show you right now are gonna be our bench press and step ups here. So you can see Katie's already set up with those dumbbells for that bench press. She's gonna sit herself back here, using those knees to support those weights, driving those heels into the floor, walling up those abs. She's gonna pull those dumbbells down towards her ribs and armpits, drive back up, pushing that air out. So it's a deep breath in on the way down. Push that air out as she drives up here. If you need, a coach will be here to spot you as well. Now, the important thing about this exercise to keep in mind is when we're talking about that 5 rep range is if Katie can do 8 to 12 reps, that's not the weight we're looking for. You want to go a little bit heavier. This can be a real challenge to get your mind right, to get those 5 heavy reps in, but this is how you're going to get stronger. So you do 5 reps, pull those dumbbells down, and then you can just uncurl them toward the floor, let them go, or you can sit up with them. That's not technically how we would have done that, but you know, we're just showing you here. It was a lightweight for her. Then we're gonna come over, And we're gonna grab, we're gonna go to our step up, so you can grab a couple kettlebells to hold at your side. You can hold one kettlebell or dumbbell at your chest, like a goblet position. You can hold dumbbells at your shoulders. You can hold those dumbbells at your side. Doesn't matter what the weight is. We're gonna do 5 step ups on each leg. So KK's got that foot planted on that box, keeping that weight over that front leg and that midfoot here. Chest up, shoulders back. She's gonna drive up, straightening out that top leg before she touches with that other leg. So you wanna make sure all the work's being done on that one leg. Drive up, crush that box. Deep breath in on the way down. Notice how she touches down with control, heel touches the floor, but she's keeping this weight here. Show them what it looks like when we rock back. We don't want to be rocking back through the ankle here. We want to keep this leg engaged for those 5 reps. Drive up. Now you can also alternate legs here if you want. So you could drive up on one leg, switch that leg, step back down with the other leg. So you can alternate 5 and 5 back and forth, or you can do 5 on one side, then 5 on the other. And then when you're done with that, you'll recover, go back to the bench press. So we're gonna go back and forth on the bench press and those step ups, trying to get somewhere between 3 and 5 reps with that heavy weight. Okay, so for our finisher on this workout, we're gonna start on the rower here. We're gonna do the rower for anywhere from 100 to 150 meters. Then we're gonna do some kettlebell swings or some goat bag hinges. And then we're gonna push the sled down and back. So we'll get set up on the rower. Make sure to tighten those straps here, grab those handles, chest up, arch that lower back, drive through those heels and squeeze those shoulder blades. Remember, think about power, not speed here. It's not about doing the reps real fast. It's about every rep being nice and powerful. So notice how Juice is driving through, squeezing those shoulder blades, pausing at the end, leaning back a little bit like she's in a recliner, drive back, and then back in here, deep breath, pushing that air out. Looking at those meters, making sure when you get to that meter mark, you hop out of there, loosen up those straps, get those feet out. We're gonna come over to our kettlebell. So for the kettlebell goat bag hinge, which is what you'll work on if you haven't worked on kettlebell swings with us yet, you're gonna push that kettlebell right into your stomach here. And now, just like with the deadlift, our hips go straight back, knees stay perpendicular, our legs stay perpendicular to the floor, and then drive those hips forward. Really what you want to be thinking is get tall. So Juice is pulling those kneecaps up toward her hips to get those quads engaged, glutes squeezed, chest up, driving. So she's not thinking about pushing her hips forward, she's thinking about getting tall here. If you want to do that kettlebell swing, we'll work from that same position, but now we step back, we break that bell, shins stay perpendicular to the floor, hips are back. She's gonna hike that kettlebell back toward her butt and then drive up here. Again, she's not pushing forward, she's getting tall at the top. Deep breath in, push that air out, stop that kettlebell right at your chest. It's gonna feel more like your belly button. Throw it back down at your hips, play chicken with that bell, deep breath in, push that air out. You'll do 10 reps, then you'll park that bell, and then you're gonna grab that sled, and we're gonna push this sled all the way down and back. Shoulders are down and away from those ears. Think about driving your foot into the floor like you're trying to tear that carpet. So you're gonna ripple that carpet up, drive that other knee up towards your chest. As you drive that other foot into the floor, you're gonna go down and back, and then you'll give yourself 60 to 90 seconds to recover. We'll get 2 to 3 sets in to finish up that workout.